There's a proverb that says, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. I just, I was just texting Miss Paula. She's been a vessel in our village, and a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. She lives right around the corner, but with the temperatures just dropped, and she made a joke talking about how cooler it is outside, and her knees are getting old and creaky. And I joked back with her and said, "Well, those creaky knees symbolize wisdom to me." And she says, "Oh, that's funny." And I had to write something down. So instead of writing something down, it inspired me to kind of do a video. And I've also uh, watched some other content this morning. I thought about doing it, but after texting her, I said, "Man, maybe I should, just put the camera on, and it could be an opportunity to say something." But I watched, in another video, I had encouraged. I was trying to explain, that it's good to have pride. And I later on, after saying that, I'm just reading scriptures and learning every day. I read something that I like, that first proverb, that it just said how it's, humbling yourself, how you can learn and how you can gain wisdom from that. A lot of times being too prideful, pride is it can, man, it can cause a lot of different things in life. It can be, I would still say it can be good, but I think the main thing I was trying to communicate to my children was, have pride, not necessarily pride, but care about the quality that you put forth in things. When you're working, drawing, anything you do, cooking in life, have a certain level of care. Relationships, opportunities, just encourage you to care. But pride, I can understand what it's saying. Like, sometimes what I've seen and I've learned, pride will hinder people from, as we were just discussing about the wisdom that I think, elders can have, and the things that you can gain from someone else's experiences. Sometimes people are too prideful to learn and just get something from somebody that's been before you. And I encourage my children, to don't be so prideful where you can't learn, or you're not coachable. There's a lot of things you can learn from people that have seen things before you. And I think that I keep seeing that so many times. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I don't know what's happened with generations, and it seems like there's certain messages that get missed, or just a lot of things that have happened. I don't know who's to blame or anything like that, but I would just encourage you, to when that opportunity comes, man, to ask questions and soak up information from someone that's older than you, or that's just experienced, and don't spend so much time rebuttaling and telling the way you see it, and just sit there and listen. You and just take the information. You can go back and process things and figure out your best. Another thing I always say is take the meat and leave the bones. Like, you can get some good quality stuff, and some stuff, if it doesn't apply, don't hold on to it. Just get the stuff with good substance. Though it's an opportunity, and I don't want y'all to miss that. But it seems like these days we live in a world where it's like those that eldership, it's not appreciated or valued to me the way. I don't know if people or kids, they're sitting down with granny and grandpa, old school, and sitting down and kind of soaking up things that the old timers used to could give you. Um, and so I wanted to say that. And there was another video this morning I was watching on YouTube, and trying to think how to explain it. Pretty much, this guy had his family. I'm not sure. And another thing, with the internet, we don't know all the details. We don't know. We don't know these people. We don't know. It's just a lot of components we don't know would make a situation. But anyway, pretty much it sounded like him and his family had been evicted, and they were about to go stay, or they were asking, I think, the wife's grandmother if they could stay with her, and she was okay with the her granddaughter and the children staying with him, but she wasn't too accepting of him. She's just like, no, I don't think that'd be a good idea for him to stay. And I can see both sides of it. Again, we don't know the details, but the man, the husband of the family, was somewhat trying to put up a. He was saying that he wasn't going to argue over, and she, to me, pretty much made her decision. And instead of just saying, at least the family's good, I'm gonna go out and figure it out. I think he was his mentality was, well, they're staying here, and I should be able to as well, and where I'm gonna stay, and uh, it's I don't, I think just it depends on your environment, how you were raised, and your background. I definitely understand that um, being compassionate towards people in their situations. Um, but I come from a different, not saying we were raised super hard or nothing like that. My parents, even now, I believe if we had hardships, my parents, my dad even said, you always got a place to come. But I think he was comfortable saying it because he knew the quality of person I was. He knew I wasn't the type to just bum around, and he knew that I think they know what characteristics are in us, so they might feel a little more comfortable doing certain things. But we were. I remember one time my dad told me they had cooked out and I got a pretty big plate, and he joked and was, I don't know if he was really joking, but he's like, "Dang boy, you getting a plate like you got a good job." And this is before I had like a real job. I might have been right out of high school, and I was so I don't know what you want to call it, and not embarrassed or humiliated, but it stung. It stung me. I was so like, man, I need to get on my own. I put the plate of food. I put all the food up, and to me, as a man, as I get older, having those types of lessons, and that's something very small, but trying to just show you the um, some of the things that I experienced. Having a two-parent household, my dad, being a man, being um, um, and providing certain structure, discipline, accountability, it was there. And so I think we learned certain traits growing up, and when this woman, they're having this conversation, going back to the story with the guy in the house, I would have been appreciative. Again, there's to me, looking at that situation, you could unpack, what led up to it. Sometimes people hit hard times. I don't know how long it takes before somebody gets evicted, and start as when you have a family, you need to start making some choices and decisions as soon as you start to see some things are changing or some struggles are happening, rainy days are coming. I know, everybody's not going to play it perfect, but I don't that's kind of my mentality with it. And I was sitting there and I was thinking about my own children, trying to teach them, and y'all are only 6, and sometimes it's tough trying to teach you all accountability, and I did another video about there are consequences for choices, good or bad. And whatever choices you make in life, no one is obligated to fix your choices. Sometimes things do happen, but that's why you should do your best to put your best foot forward, and things will happen. Sometimes things do happen, and what I've learned is people are a little more likely to help people who are sincerely helping themselves. People are a little more willing to work with you, and when they see that you're really trying, not just sitting waiting for somebody else to fix whatever it is you're going through. People see it. People are not. Um, that some people are gullible, or they'll, but and I just thought I'd shoot that little video, and it made me think about that. The little story about even with my dad and some of the things, I think how we were just raised to, try to create a lifestyle that you can handle. Try not to have a lifestyle where it takes others to manage it for you. Now we were very fortunate that my parents were able to have, carry on some momentum with us. But I think I also understood the significance of it, and not to be reckless with things, and it's sometimes life it can be unpredictable. So I'm compassionate towards that, but um, I just wanted to shoot that, and so signing off.